Greetings. I'm the Computer King, the supervillain of streaming. Welcome to my show. And as you can see, I just got my box of Magic the Gathering Innistrad Midnight Hunt, which is a long name, but not as long as some of them. And so the first thing to do, of course, is remove the plastic. And, hey there, Scullin. Nice to see you in the chat. Open up packs of cards is fun. Especially when there's stuff I didn't even watch spoilers. So, this is all new shit to me. I haven't even opened the packs that I have on, Magic the Gathering Arena. Lots of wolfies. This might actually be very good as a surface to show the cards off on if I can get it to bend right. There we go. Let's open up a pack and see what I get. Alright. Oh. First art card is fan-frickin-tastic. It is Jaren Corrupted Bishop. There we go. And it focuses nice. Excellent. Art cards go in a separate pile. So we have a spooky-ass forest. We got Blade Brand. Target creature gains death touch till the end of turn. I used to play this in conjunction with a creature that does 1 damage to all opponents, creatures, and players when it comes into play. Because if you play it, and then before its power goes off, you hit it with Blade Brand, it kills everything that can be killed. It says, Skursdag cultists believe the right position, right position, purifies a tainted soul before it makes its way into Ormondal. And this box is already starting to be a problem. So it's gone. Okay, next is Novice Occultist. When it dies, I draw a card and lose a life. Blood Pact. Target player draws 2 cards and loses 2 life. Cathartic Pyre. Sure, Scullin, if I find any gum in any of these packs, you can have it. Because, yikes. What's it going to be, blood flavored? This is Innistrad we're talking about. The home of vampires, werewolves, and witches. Also humans. This is the story where the humans fight back against the werewolves and vice versa. Cathartic Pyre. I can choose one. Either it deals 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker, or discard up to 2 cards and draw that many. That's a good combination of possibilities. Then we have we start with the uncommons. The Thermo Alchemist. And you can tap him to deal 1 damage to each opponent. Whenever I cast an instant of sorcery, I can untap him. So you can go, I ping all my enemies, I untap him, because I shock an enemy. I ping them all again, and then I cast another spell, and he untaps. He's good with a bunch of cheap spells. Covert Cut Purse. When it enters the battlefield, destroy target creature I don't control that was dealt damage this turn. Nice. Disturb. 4 and a black. You may cast this card from your graveyard transformed for its disturbed cost. Oh, it's got a transformation. You know what that means? Flip! He's also the Covetous Geist. So if I cast him with his Disturb, he's got Flying, Death Touch is a 2/2, and if it would be put in a graveyard, you exile it instead. That's cool. Here, I'm going to start putting the ones I've looked at up here. And there. Harvesttide Infiltrator. Trample, Daybound. If a player casts no spells during their own turn, it becomes night next turn. He was, and the other side is Nightbound. So when things go to night, they transform into this. He is a werewolf, a Harvesttide Assailant. Is that the same name? No. He goes from being an infiltrator to an assailant. And he's got trample, and he's a 4/4, so he's bigger and nastier. Nice. That's a common. No. Yes. Cathartic Pyre is the uncommon. Next is the Candle Grove Witch. It's got Coven. The Coven power is, at the beginning of combat on my turn, if I control 3 or more creatures with different powers, she gains flying. That's cute. Nice art on this. Okay, Wilhelt the Rotcleaver. That's a name. Whenever another zombie I control dies, if it didn't have Decayed, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token with Decayed. Okay, Decayed means it can't block. When it attacks, sacrifice it at the end of combat. And at the beginning of my end step, I can sacrifice a zombie to draw a card. That's nice. And that's a mythic rare. Not even from the set. It's from the list. Here's the Dire Strain Rampage, which is a sorcery. Destroy target artifact, enchantment, or land. If a land was destroyed this way, its controller may search the library for up to 2 basic land cards, put them onto the battlefield tapped, and shuffle. Otherwise, the controller may search their library for a basic land card, put it into the battlefield tapped, and shuffle. Let's put our rares right here in the middle. Here's a foil Falconwrath Perforator. Almost said Perpetrator. Sorry for the clumps. I was itching my ear. Whenever it attacks, deals 1 damage to defending player. So it's like, you, I want to do 1 damage to you, so I'll send this 2/1 out to die and do a damage to you. And a Selfless Spirit. 2/1 flying, sacrifice it to give all your creatures indestructible. That really is a selfless spirit. There is always more to give. Sure, when you're a ghost. That's 3 rares in 1 pack. I'm beginning to like this. And that art card is sweet. Oh. Got another art card. What is this? This is the Ritual Guardian. So he guards the ritual. I get it. Alright. We got a spooky island. Almost looks like a swamp with all this icky stuff coming out of the water. And we got a Soul Glide Griff. It's a hippogriff spirit. How cute. Hey, Katie, how you doing? Thug is when you have been, subscribed to my channel here instead of followed, where you spend $5 to support my stream. And Skullin promoted you to Thug, and it didn't make a noise in my ear as far as I heard. That's a mistake. But really, yeah. Also, when you go to my Discord, you'll be able to see the special Thug-based rooms and chats. So, thumbs up to you. Should I do that? Yes, thumbs up. There. So, when Soul Guide Griff enters the battlefield, exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard. So if somebody keeps bringing a card back from their graveyard, you can make it go away. Nice. A Thraben Exorcism. Exile target spirit, creature with Disturb or enchantment. Ooh, that's pretty nice. Locked in the Cemetery. Not locked in the closet. This isn't an R. Kelly song. You enchant the creature. When it enters the battlefield, If there are 5 or more cards in your graveyard, tap enchanted creature. Enchanted creature doesn't untap during... Oh, I see. So if you have 5 cards in your graveyard, you can play this on a creature to tap it and keep it locked down. It's locked in the cemetery. If you don't have 5, well, they better tap it and use it before you get a 5th card in your graveyard, because then it'll never untap. That's okay, Katie. No problem. Duress. Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-creature, non-land card, and they have to discard it. Nice. Good old classics. Here's Cathar's Call. It's another enchantment. The enchanted creature has vigilance, and at the beginning of your end step, oh, it just makes creatures. That's troubling. Ritual of Hope. Creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. And it's got a Coven power. And if you control 3 or more creatures with different powers, creatures you control get +2/+1 until the end of turn instead. Instead of 1/1, you get 2/1. And by the way, by different powers, they don't mean powers like flying, they mean power. So, Gale Drifter is a hippogriff, flying, and disturb. So when it dies, you can cast it for 4 in a blue instead of 3 in a blue, and it comes out a Whale Drifter. So it comes back as a 2/2 instead of a 3/2, but it comes back. It's a ghost. So now the Village Witch. That's a nice. These alternate card arts are nice. Haste, Daybound, 4/3. What does it turn into? It turns into Village Reavers. Werewolves that gives wolves and werewolves you control haste. Ooh. And it's a 5/4. That's just nasty. I like it. Here's a Shady Traveler. He's got Menace, and he's Daybound, but so when it turns into night, he flips over and becomes a 4/4 monster. Stalking Predator. This is a lot of work they had to do to make the 2 different cards for some of them. A Shady Traveler, it becomes a Stalking Predator, and that's pretty cool. Here's the Lord of the Forsaken. Hello, Brat Baby. What does the Lord of the Forsaken do? He's got flying and trample. He's a 6/6, so he's just a big monster. And if you give him a black and sacrifice another creature, you can make your opponent throw away cards, or yourself actually. That's cool. And if you pay a life and add 1, you spend it to. Oh, you can pay a life in order to cast a spell from a graveyard with 1 more mana. Cute. I like it. And here's Otherworldly Gaze. On the bottom right, okay, for creatures, this will be on creatures. It's their strength and toughness. Say I was attacking somebody with my Shady Traveler, and they had the Lord of the Forsaken. If they block with the Lord of the Forsaken, this does 2 damage to him, and he does 6 damage to this. And since he has 6 toughness, that 2 damage doesn't kill him. And since he only has 3 toughness, that 6 damage obliterates him. If you want, I'll send you. Yeah, he did. I'll send you a link to a video. Yes, I know BBW Brat Baby elsewhere. So look at the top 3 cards of your library and put any number of them back into your graveyard, and the rest back on top of your library. That's pretty nice. The minigame Booster Blitz. Ah, here's the card to represent a vampire token. A vampire that has trample, lifelink, and haste. That's nasty. Even if he's only a 3-1, if you can buff him up so he doesn't die. Yeah, Scullin's cool. He's like my super thug. Okay, next pack. Oh, that's nice. She's got big claws. She's got one big wolfy claw and one big wolfy leg. She's like half changed. What card is this? Arlen, the Pack's Hope. This is an art card. You can't use it to play. It's just just commemorating the art in this set, because this art is freaking beautiful. Here's a plains. Even the plains look like they're dead. No, that. Okay, this is an art card. It's not used to play the game. That means there's 81 art cards in this set, and this is number 3 of the ones they've made. Like this guy. It's card number 18. And the first one I got is number 37. These are for collecting, not playing. No fighting with those. Hedge Witch's Mask. Okay. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and can't be blocked by creatures with power 4 or greater. That's nice. Slap this on a huge creature and they have to block with smaller ones. Harvesttide Sentry. It's got Coven power. At the beginning of combat, if you control 3 or more creatures with different powers, it can't be blocked with creatures of power 2 or less. Nice. So they have to waste a big creature on this. If you have different powers of creature. Timberland Guide. When he just puts a 1/1 counter on something. That's pretty nice. Might use it for himself, though. Here's some Bramble Armor. I'm putting a shadow on stuff, sorry. Cool, Brat Baby. When Bramble Armor enters the battlefield, attached to the target creature, so you can just put it out there and it'll attach to something and give it +2/+1. That's nifty. Okay, Dissipate. Counter target spell. If that spell is countered, exile it. Ooh, nice. Fading Hope. Return target creature to owner's hand. If its mana value is 3 or less, scry 1. That's pretty good for 1 mana. Ecstatic Awakener. He's a human wizard, but apparently he changes shape because he's got this transformation symbol up in the upper left-hand corner. For 2 and a black and sacrifice another creature, I draw a card and transform him. And he transforms into an awoken demon. Nice. So he just turns into a demon and gives you a card. Giving you a card is the best part of that. So we got a Spell Rune Painter. It's a werewolf. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, it gets +1/+1. And when it turns into night, it turns to a Spell Rune Howler. And also he gets the +2/+2, but he starts off at 3/4 instead of a 2/3. Oh, it gets +2/+2 instead of +1/+1. So he gets big. Or she. It's a she, I think. It's a little tough to tell. Dawnheart Rejuvenator. When it enters the battlefield, you gain 3 life, and it can be tapped for 1 mana of any color. That's nifty. Galvanic Iteration. When you cast your next instant or sorcery spell this turn, you copy it. That's nice. That's real nice. And you may choose new targets for the copy. and you flash back. You can flash back this card, so you can use it after you've used it once and put it in the graveyard. You can use it, and it goes out of the game after. So that's twice you can use this card. And I don't remember if there's a card like this that makes copies that you do that. Because if say you cast it once, and then the next instant or sorcery spell you cast is it in flashback, that means it copies it, so you get two of it. It's cute. Not the best. Here's an Infernal Grasp. Destroy a target creature, and I lose 2 life. Oh, now they're selling t-shirts, huh? That's cool. Here's an Elemental. That's just a token for when there's a spell that creates such. Top right is the cost to cast the card. I'll talk about it next. But first, look at this art card. That's a very vicious looking angel. What kind of angel is it? It's Lesa, the Forgotten Archangel. Nice. I wouldn't mind having this card, except for I know it's one of the colors that she'll probably be is one I don't like. White. In Magic the Gathering, all the card colors have different significances and abilities associated with it, and we'll get into that another time. So here's another Plains. Here's the 2 Plains I've gotten so far. Really, really tough looking out there. Very bleak. That's why they put it in black and white. I get it. Here's Locked in the Closet, Cemetery. Here's Duress. Oh, let me move my hand out of the way and maybe it'll focus better. Is it too bright? Olivia Newton-John. Olivia's Midnight Ambush. I say Olivia Newton-John, and apparently Olivia pops up here. Olivia's Midnight Ambush. Whoever Olivia is, target creature gets -2/-2 in the end of turn. But if it's night, it's -13/-13. Ow! That'll kill a lot of different things. Let's see, Mounted Dread Knight. Okay, the upper right hand corner, this number and symbol is what it takes in mana to cast the card. Mana comes from lands. Like this is a forest, it produces 1 green mana. This is an island, 1 blue, and these are plains. Each of them makes 1 white if you use them. You can only be used once a turn, at which point you turn them sideways to let people know they're used. This guy costs 1 red, so you have to have a mountain, and 4 of any color that you want. So 5 in total, but 1 of them has to be red. And this is a Mounted Dreadnought. He's got Trample. He's a 5/4. He's a big boy. And he enters with a +1/+1 counter on it if an opponent lost life this turn. Nice. He's a Vampire Knight, and his card is amazingly dark. Come on. Come on, camera. You can do this. Close enough. There's a Grizzly Ghoul. I can't get it to focus down there. Maybe I'll put something underneath it to raise it up. It's not like I don't have plenty of boxes. Come on. Come on, you can do it. It's trying real hard. It says zombie bear. Ew. Wow, it really can't figure this shit out. I'd rather it be slightly out of focus than horribly twitching and ruining my eyes like that. He's a 4/3 trample, and he enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on for each creature that died this turn. So if you have something that kills a bunch of creatures, you want to play that first, and then play this guy. Rite of Oblivion. As an additional cost to cast it, you sacrifice a non-land permanent. You exile a non-land permanent. So basically, you can get rid of something in order to get rid of someone else's something. Very useful. Here's the Lunarch Veteran. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life. And you can cast him transformed for 1 and a white into the Luminous Phantom, who has the same power. That's nice. That's nice. Tireless Hauler. He's a werewolf. He's got vigilance and is a 4/5 normally. When he turns into a werewolf, ooh, he's a 6/6. The Dire Strain Brawler. Yikes. Yeah, a 1/1 is very weak, but it can be weaker. Could be a 0/1. But it's not just their power and toughness that determines whether they're useful. Not just, but it does count a lot, because if something's very weak, you can kill it pretty quickly. Like the Harvesttide Infiltrator is a 3/2, but if you have a whole bunch of 1/1s, he just tramples right over them. Trample means if you hit something with enough damage, with more than enough damage to kill it, the extra damage goes to your opponent. And here's a Triskaidekaphile, somebody who likes 13. You have no maximum hit. Notice his life total is 1. His life power and toughness is 1/3 for 13. You have no maximum hand size. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you have exactly 13 cards in your hand, you win the game. That's a powerful card. That's a very powerful card. I can do that. I can build a deck around that guy. Yeah, cards that say you win the game can be very powerful and very useful. But sometimes it's hard, because you have to be able to draw enough cards to have the 13 cards in your hand, and then it has to be at your upkeep, which is at the very beginning of your turn. So if another player that you're playing against has a card that makes you lose a card, you don't win. Or if they do something that makes you lose your hand, or draw more cards, and they force you to draw cards, you no longer win. So, Pax Betrayal, gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature. It gains haste until the end of turn. If you control a wolf or a werewolf, scry 2. That's nice. Just steal somebody's creature. Here's a Dungeon Shade. He gets +1/+1 till end of turn. He's flying a 1/1 for 3. Now, this is a 1/1, for 4. For 1 red, 1 black, and 3. He costs a lot for his 1/1. However, if you take that and feed him a whole bunch of black mana, till the end of the turn, he becomes a 2/2 or a 3/3 or 4/4. So he's more powerful than his 1/1 tells you. My problem is I don't know whether he's a uncommon or a common. I think he's uncommon. Opening another pack. Yep, another pretty card. That's really well drawn. That is a deserted beach. Doesn't quite look as deserted as they suggest, because this looks like it used to be a person. This looks like it used to be maybe a werewolf or some sort of creature. So something's keeping it deserted. Ah, a swamp for black mana. They put some color in this. I like that. A little bit of purple to simulate black, because it's all black and white anyway. Can you see the purple? There we go. Cathar Commander again. He's got Flash, which means you can cast him all on turns that aren't yours, which is cool. Fallout 4, yeah, kinda. You can sacrifice him to destroy an artifact or enchantment. So if they've got an artifact or enchantment that's bothering you or causing you problems, you can cast this and then pay 1 mana, sacrifice him to get rid of it. Okay, a Sun Gold Barrage. Destroy target creature with toughness 4 or greater. That's something about having a big toughness. This just destroys you if you're a big creature. It's very tricky that way. Silver Bolt. Sacrifice it to deal 3 damage to target creature. If a werewolf is dealt damage this way, destroy it. Nice. Abandon the Post. Up to 2 target creatures can't block this turn. Good to cast on your turn, because it's a sorcery, you can only cast it on your turn. To make sure that their biggest creatures can't block what's coming in. And also you can flash it back with flashback, so you can cast it again for 3 and a red. So you can cast it twice in both turns if you have enough mana, and that would mean up to 4 creatures can't block. And here's an Ominous Roost, which I thought was Ominous Roast for a second there. An Ominous Roost, when it enters the battlefield, or when you cast a spell from your graveyard, it makes a bird creature. With 1/1 with flying, and it can only block creatures with flying. That's cute. Faithful Mending. You gain 2 life, draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards. Why would this be good? Well, if you have crap in your hand, being able to draw 2 new cards and throwing away the bad ones is a big help. And here's the Gale Drifter / Whale Drifter. Ha ha ha. This is a nasty looking thing compared to its original form. Hippogriff. Nasty. Here's the Dawnheart Wardens. They've got Vigilance. They're a 3/3 for 1 white, 1 green, and 1. And it has a Coven power. So at the beginning of your combat, if you control 3 or more creatures with different powers, creatures you control get +1/+0 to the end of turn. So it makes things stronger. Here's the Candle Grove Witch, who gets flying with her Coven power. I'm just going to call it a Coven power and leave it at that. Okay, here's a Briar Bridge Tracker. When it enters the battlefield, you investigate. Investigating is you make a clue token, which lets you pay 2 and sacrifice it to draw a card. which is useful. Drawing cards is very useful in this game. Cool. I picked a whole bunch of songs off my playlists from YouTube. You you can hear them here while you're watching my show, but it's cut out of the video on demand in Twitch because Twitch is now all against copyrighted stuff being put in there in the recordings. So as long as it's only in the stream, but not in the VOD, it works. I won't have a problem. And as long as I control a token, it gains plus 2 plus 0. Nice. Here's the Bird Admirer. It's a 1/4 with reach, because she's got an arrow, she can hit things that fly. But she turns into a wing shredder, which means that I guess it climbs up things and jumps it, because it looks like it's up in a tree here. It climbs up trees and catches birds that way instead of with the arrows. That's cute. Here's a beast. Random, just beast. Generic beast. Hello, llama corn. I'm now picturing a cute little llama with a unicorn horn. That's cute. How you doing? Oh, this one's another sideways art card. Check out this picture. These are some lovely, lovely pictures that they've drawn. It's a patrician Geist. And here is a mountain. All that black and white. Very bleak. Baby llama eating corn works too. But I picked her like a unicorn llama. So a llama corn. Are you still there, llama corn? Which one of us is right? Okay, abandon the post. A Lambholt Harrier. Target creature can't block for 3 and a red. That's nice. Doesn't have anything on it like you can't, like, only if you have 3 or more wolves or bullshit like that. It's just straight up pay some mana. That can't block. Pax Betrayal, where you steal a creature for a turn. Join the Dance. Makes human creature tokens. Contortionist Troop. Enter the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it because you pay it in the casting cost. So you pay 1 green and X, which is, just like in math, a variable. Depends on how much mana you want to put into it. It has a Coven power that at the beginning of your end step, if you control 3 or more creatures with different powers, a creature gets a +1/+1 counter. That's sweet. And you don't even have to move it off of the Contortionist Troop. Here's the Bird Admirer again that turns into the Wing Shredder. And the same card again. I got 2 Bird Admirers back to back. I mean, one's the extra snazzy card, but really. Here, I never took a good look at the other Wing Shredder picture. He's in the roost. He really wants to eat them birds. Here's a Tavern Ruffian, alternate art card. Freaking Tavern Smasher, a 6/5. Visions of Dread. Target opponent puts the creature card of their choice from their graveyard onto the battlefield. Why would you do this? Oh, wait. Okay. Target opponent puts a creature card of their choice from their graveyard onto the battlefield under my control. Okay. I forgot. It said under your control. So, that's a very nice card. Very, very nice. Oops. Here's Dennick, the Pious Apprentice. He's got lifelink. Cards in graveyard can't be the targets to spells and or abilities, so he would make Visions of Dread useless. And he comes back as a ghost. He comes back as Dennick, the Pious Apparition, and with the same power. No. Whenever one or more creatures' cards are put into the graveyard, it's investigate. That's nice. And here's a Death Bonnet Sprout. Oh, it's a cute little mushroom. At the beginning of your upkeep, mill a card. If there are 3 or more creature cards in your graveyard, transform it into a Death Bonnet Hulk. It's still cute. It may have a whole bunch of random teeth, but it's still a cute little mushroom. It's very funny. That's funny. And the cat, it's a bird. Flying 1/1 and can only block creatures with flying. This is one of those birds. Most birds don't have that extra thing where they can't block non-flyers, but this is one specifically made for that card. Hey! Welcome back to the Thugs, Llamacorn. Another angel. Angels drive me crazy because they usually have white in them. And white's my least favorite color of Magic. And although she is holding a bird's head on a stick for a scythe, I have to bring this closer to you so you can see the eye, because otherwise it looks like she's just carrying a scythe. That's a bird's head. It might have just been carved that way, but doesn't look it because the eye is glowing. Sigarda's Splendor is the name of the card. I'll see if I come across that one. Yeah, Scullin is awesome. Scullin is a super fan. He's the head thug. Here's another swamp. Path to the Festival. You search your library for a basic land card, put it in the battlefield tapped, and shuffle. If there are 3 or more basic land types among land you control, you scry 1. So it's good if you're playing 3 colors or more. But otherwise, it's okay. Festival Crasher. Look at this little devil with the... It's got a pumpkin on his head. Whenever you cast an instant sorcery spell, he gets +2/+0 till the end of turn. So many candles, so many flammables, so little time is the quote on it. Brimstone Vandal. Another devil. He's got menace. If it's neither night nor day, it becomes day when he comes into the battlefield. Whenever day becomes night or night becomes day, he deals 1 damage to each opponent. So if you play a day-night deck where day and night flips around all the time, he'd be very nasty. Immolation. Enchanted creature gets +2/-2 because, you just set it on fire. It's stronger, it's going to hurt more when it punches you because it's on fire, but it's not going to live longer because it's on fire. I love the quote, nothing is funnier to a devil than setting anyone, on fire. Yeah, that could have been ahead of Kefnet. But I doubt it, since she's like a zombie god now. But that's all in the storylines. Lots of storylines. Borrowed time. When it enters the battlefield, exile target non-land permanent until. Oh, okay. This just is one of those cards that exiles a card. It's nice. It's white specialty. Exiling things. Defend the Celestus. Distribute 3+1/+1 counters among 1, 2, or 3 target creatures you control, which is pretty nice. Cathar's Call again. It just makes babies. Our beloved beggar. And when you disturb him, cast him again, he turns into a ghost called the Generous Soul. He's got flying and vigilance. He's a 4 frickin' 4. Scary. He goes from a 0-4 human to a 4-4 ghost. And this motherfucker only costs 2 mana to first bring out, and then 6 mana to come back as a 4-4. So, Outland Liberator. Sacrifice him to destroy an artifact or enchantment. Daybound turns into a Frenzied Trap Breaker. Whenever it attacks, destroy target artifact or enchantment defending player controls. Yikes. This will ruin a deck that relies on a whole bunch of enchantments and no creatures. Sarith, the Viper's Fang. She's a human warlock, but she looks like a freaking Naga. Oh, she just has a snake that she hangs out with. Here, let me see if I can get this a better shot for you guys. Other tapped creatures you control have Death Touch and Hexproof. Oh, other untapped creatures you control have Hexproof. And you spend 1 to tap and tap her to untap another target creature or land you control. That's kind of nice. Gavani Trapper taps a target creature. He's cheap. He's the cheap little thing. Student of Warfare. He's got a special power called Level Up. Basically, for 1 white, you can put a level counter on him, and you can level up only as a sorcery. So, once he starts off at level 1 as a 1/1. When he gets to level 2, he's got first strike, and becomes a 3/3. And when he gets to level 7, he's a 4/4 with double strike. So he becomes very nasty. Opening another pack. Oh, this looks like a forest. What is it? Yes, it's a forest. Take a look at those creepy trees. Nice pick. Oh, I got a foil island. Shiny. Novice Occultist. When it dies, you draw a card and lose a life. Blood Pact. Target player draws 2 cards and loses 2 life. Wait, this is a lot like the first pack I opened. Nope, different now. A Morkrit Behemoth. As an additional cost, cast this spell, sacrifice a creature or pay 1 and a black. So either he costs 5 and a creature, or he costs, wow, 7? Or a 7/6 with menace. Let's see my brother's stitched up little toys compete with this. Somebody's jealous of their brother and decided to overtake him by excelling at, necromancy. A larder zombie. Tap 3 untapped creatures you control to look at the top card of your library, and you may put it into your graveyard. That's nice. But why didn't they just call it, Surveil 1, because that's what Surveil is. Forget it. They did it that way because they don't want the Surveil flavor. Fine. It's a blue zombie, by the way. That's pretty nifty. Arcane Infusion. You may look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal an instant or sorcery card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library. That's nice. Seize the Storm. Create a red elemental creature token. In fact, I already have one from the tokens I've gotten. Here he is. With trample, and this creature's power and toughness are each equal to the number of instant and sorcery cards in your graveyard, plus the number of cards with flashback you own in exile. That's nice. He can be big later on in the game. And you can flash it back for 7. So you can make him bigger with the card you used to create him. Nice. Tavern Ruffian. He's daybound. He's a 2/5, which means he's pretty tough, kind of strong. And when it becomes night, he turns into a Tavern Smasher. 6/5. He's nasty. Alright, Tireless Hauler. Let's put this in the wrong place. Let me put that where it belongs. And that, jeez. I'm putting the cards in the wrong places because I'm not thinking about where they go. Yeah, these pictures are awesome. That's part of the draw of Magic the Gathering. Here's that Tireless Hauler again, who turns into a Dire Strain Brawler. Hauler and Brawler. Cute. Here's the Harvest Tide Infiltrator again, who turns into the Harvest Tide Assailant. Not Assassin, Assailant, because you can't have a werewolf assassin. With all the howling, growling, and crashing through the woods, not good for ninja work. Here's a Moonveil Regent. It's a lovely dragon. It's got flying, and whenever you cast a spell, you may discard your hand. If you do, draw a card for each of that spell's colors. So if you throw away a 3-color card, you can draw 3 cards. But if you throw away a single color card, you only get to draw 1. And you have to discard your whole hand to do that. So you better have less than the number of cards you'll be drawing. And when it dies, it deals X damage to any target where X is the number of colors among permanents you control. This card's good for 5 color decks. And that's about it. At least that's its best there. Here's Abandon the Post in foil. And another vampire. I'm the bad guy. Opening a pack. Oh, that's an interesting picture. What is that? That's a Nebelgast Intruder. Just take a good look at that. That's nasty. He's got keys, a lantern. Looks like he's in a straitjacket. He's got a hook. It's just crazy. Here's that forest that I have an art card for. Here's Immolation again, setting people on fire. Burn the Accursed does 5 damage to target creature and 2 damage to that creature's controller. And if it kills the creature, you exile it instead. Nice. Raise the Effigy. You destroy a target artifact or target attacking creature, get +2/+2. That's nice. Defenestrate. Destroy target creature without flying. Because defenestrate is, the definition is to throw something out of a window. I love the word defenestration. Because it sounds cool to say and looks cool to do. Here's a Field of Ruin. You sacrifice it to destroy a non-basic land, and each player searches for a basic land card, puts it onto the battlefield, and shuffles. It's can't be right because you'd use this to destroy one opponent's land, but then it says each player searches their library, so it's got to be just you and the other person. I have to look up this card because I think they changed this wording of it and they did it wrong. Clear Shot. If target creature you control, target creature gets +1/+1 till end of turn, deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. It's a good way of getting a hit in without risking your creature. Here's a Bait Hook Angler. Oh, I'm betting it turns into that Geist. Nope, it turns to a different thing. A Hook Haunt Drifter. He's a pretty cheap card. It goes from a 2/1 to a 1/2. Here are the Dawnheart Wardens. Again. Here's the Graveyard Trespasser. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, you exile up to one target card from a graveyard. If a creature is exiled this way, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. So if you have an opponent with creatures in the graveyard, you can attack him and get rid of those. And he turns into a Graveyard Glutton. Wait a minute, I need to see something. No, I thought this might have been the same gravestone he was out here, but it's not. No, actually it is. It's hard to see, but underneath here you can see the little arch banner thing here. On the other side, it's that arch right there. So he ate a fucking headstone. That arch there. So he's got ward. Does he have ward on this side? Yes. He has ward of discard a card. Which means that anybody that wants to cast a spell on him, they have to discard a card in order to do it. And yeah. And this time you're exiling up to 2 target cards from a graveyard when he comes in or attacks. Wait. Okay. Old Stick Fingers. Is that like... Old Scratch? No. When you cast this spell, reveal cards from your top of your library until you reveal X creature cards. So that's X right here. Put all creature cards revealed this way into your graveyard, and put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Old Stick Finger's power and toughness are each equal to the number of creature cards in your graveyard. So you could put a whole bunch of creatures in there, and he'll be big. Or you can play him late game for just a green and a black, and if you have a lot of creatures in your graveyard, he'll be big. He's nice. Ah, I see you've learned how to put in emotes, Brat Baby. There's that Festival Crasher again. What's the... Oh, no token in this one. That's just trash. Or a bookmark. I have plenty of cards that aren't tokens. I don't need any more. I've got to repeat, but this one is signed. Notice the gold signature in the corner. This is a Ritual Guardian again, but this is a special one because it's signed by the artist Denman Rook. Ooh, I got a foil swamp this time. It's fancy. Here's Olivia's Midnight Ambush again. Mounted Dead Knight again. Vampire Interloper. He can't block. He's a 2/1 that can't block. He flies. So you might have a chance of hitting somebody a couple times if you get him out early. Bat Whisperer. That's a funny name. Those don't do very much on my thing, but it'll if you're not looking at it on a phone, it's easy to see what you can do with it. But that's random points that they made up on Twitch just to give people something to do, because it's not really that relevant. It's not like bits where you actually get money for them. When Bat Whisperer enters the battlefield, if opponent lost life this turn, create a 1/1 black bat creature token with flying. She doesn't even fly herself. She just comes with a little flying bat. That's funny. Odric's Outrider. Whenever him or another creature I control dies, another creature gets a +1/+1 counter. That's sweet. This is the sneaky shit that white does. A Flesh Taker. A human assassin. Gotcha. Whenever you sacrifice another creature, you gain 1 life and scry 1. And you can pay 1 and sacrifice another creature to give him +2/+2 until the end of turn. So it's like win-win. And here's the Tireless Hauler. Funny, because he's hauling a tire. I just have to say that. And he turns into a Dire Strain Brawler. You nasty. Dawnheart Rejuvenator again. Nice. Candle Grove Witch again. A Pithing Needle. This card, people used to say, is very powerful. I don't know why, but I have never actually owned one before, and they just reprinted it, so that's fucking awesome. When it enters the battlefield, choose a card name. Activated abilities of sources with the chosen name can't be activated unless they're mana abilities. Oh my, I know what this is good for. I'll put that aside because I know a deck I want to try and make someday that would go with it. Eaten Alive. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature or pay 3 and a black. Exile target creature or planeswalker. Just eat something alive. Nom 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 nom. And this, it's a human. A human who apparently likes pumpkins that are on fire. There's candles on top of it, but very cute Halloween-y type thing. Opening another pack. Oh, that's a fucking awesome picture. This looks like it could be a fucking photograph. Tell me that doesn't look like a photo almost. That is wicked. And it's Rem Carolus, the Stalwart Slayer. So he's a special kind of card called Legendary. He's actually sort of got a backstory instead of just being a generic person. Here's the planes. Another Morkrit Behemoth. Another larger zombie. A siege zombie. Tap 3 untapped creatures you control. Each opponent loses 1 life. And note, it doesn't require it to tap, so you can do this on your opponent's turn after you cast him, right before your turn. So if you have a whole bunch of creatures, say 9, you can, before the end of your opponent's turn, before your turn starts, you can go, I tap all my creatures and you do 3 damage to each opponent. Hobbling Zombie. When a Hobbling Zombie dies, create a 2/2 black zombie creature with Decayed. So basically he comes back as a weaker version of himself, of a creature. Because he's a he's a zombie now, he'll be a decayed zombie. And after that, instead of dying with leaving a body, you die and you go away forever. That's exile. Phantom Carriage. When Phantom Carriage enters the battlefield, you may search your library card for a card with Flashback or Disturb, put it into your graveyard, then shuffle. And it's a 4/4 for 6. It's cute. Root Coil Creeper, a plant horror. You tap it for 1 mana of any color. You tap it for 2 mana of any 1 color. Spend this many only to cast spells from your graveyard. Or for a blue and a black and tap it, you can exile them to return target card with flashback you own from exile. From exile to your hand. Holy shit. You can get back shit from exile now. They wanted that to not be a thing. And then they started making it a thing. And that pisses me off. They break their Magic the Gathering is constantly breaking their own rules. Just want to say that. So, Winterhorn Blessing. Put a +1/+1 counter on up to 1 target creature. Tap up to target 1 creature you don't control. And that creature doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. That's a lot of shit for 2 mana. That's a lot for 2 mana. Bait Hook Angler, again, he turns into the Hook Haunt Drifter. Here's a Mysterious Tome. Tap 2 and tap it, draw a card, and transform it into the Chilling Chronicle. So it has the power, if you spend 1 and tap it, you can tap target non-land permanent and then transform back into the Mysterious Tome. That's cute. That is very cute. I like that. And here's Unhallowed Respite. Some people want to pronounce it Respite, but I call it Respite. Exile target non-legendary creature, and then return it to battlefield under owner's control. If it entered under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on it, otherwise tap it. So, if somebody's attacking you with a creature, for example, you make it disappear so it doesn't, it's no longer attacking, and it comes back not attacking. And you tap it. Even if it had vigilance. It's nice. Storm Skrillex. It's a Drake horror. Okay, so it's part icky, otherworldly thing and part dragon. It's got flying, and instant and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. And whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, it gets +2/+0 till end of turn. It's nifty. This is a blank card used to if you put it in a sleeve that has a back. Let me show you. This is for folks who don't know. Magic the Gathering cards, you can put them in sleeves so that they don't take damage during play. but you can't see the other side of cards like this guy. So you would put in this one of these cards, and you'll write in what's on the back end of it. So you know when you draw the card, you get this card face up, and you go, oh, okay, this is that guy, and his other side is that. So I don't have to take it out and look at it and let my opponent know that I have a tricky card, tricky flippy card. So that's useful. Opening another pack. Oh, there's a nice one. He's up high. Come on. You can focus. Focus, you stupid camera. Oh, that's nice. That's a stalking predator. Here's a forest. Oh, it's a shiny forest. Candlelit Cavalry. It's got a coven power. It's a 5/5 for 5 to start off with. And it's got a power of at the beginning of combat on your turn. If you control 3 or more creatures with different powers, it gets trample. Nice. Trample is good. Dawn Heart Rejuvenator again. Gaining life when something comes into play is nice. Ardent Elementalist. When Ardent Elementalist enters the battlefield, return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. Nifty. Give me a sec. I'm going to move the table up. Ha! There you go, bitch. Electric Revelation. As an additional cost to cast this spell, discard a card to draw 2 cards. That's nice. Ritual of Hope. Creatures you control get +1/+1, and it's got the coven power that turns it into +2/+1. Join the dance. Just make some humans. Here's the Bird Admirer / Wing Shredder. Devoted Graph Keeper. It's got 2/1 and mills 2 cards from your deck. And when you cast a spell from your graveyard, you can tap a creature you don't control. And he got disturbed, so he comes back as a 3/1 flyer with who can only block things with flying. It's okay. He's better alive than dead, though. Tavern Ruffian, that turns into the Tavern Smasher. It's the alternate art card, but it looks cool. I didn't realize it would work that well, moving the Catilda Dawnheart Prime. She's got protection from werewolves. Yikes. And it gives human creatures add 1 mana of any of this creature's color to tap it. And for 4 a white and a green, you can tap it and put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. That's nasty. That's nasty. Stupid white-green shit. Pisses me off when they make cards that good for white-green. Dawnheart Rejuvenator again. And this is a zombie, and he's got his own hand for a weapon. Oh, come on, you can focus. I can do this. Oh, now you won't focus. Good enough. It was doing fine a second ago, so. Yeah, it doesn't know what it wants. Oh, here's that Drake. I think it's that same Drake I already got a card of. Let's see. Yep, the Moonveil Regent. Oh, it can figure out that card pretty well. That is sweet. Here's the Swampy Swamp. Vampire Interloper. The Bat Whisperer. The Arrogant Outlaw. When he enters the battlefield, if an opponent lost life this turn, each opponent loses 2 life, and you gain 2 life. Kind of insult to injury there. Neonate's Rush. Now, a neonate is a new vampire. I know that word because they use it a lot in in Vampire the Masquerade, the role-playing game, which I played way back when it was new. This is getting ridiculous. What if I take a pack and put it underneath it? Will you calm down then, camera? Will they always be tall enough to focus on then? Yes, apparently yes. Here's a Dawn Heart Mentor. Makes humans. Here's the Dawnheart Wardens again. Gavany Dawn Guard. If it's either neither day or night, it becomes day when he enters the battlefield. When day becomes night or night becomes day, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card with mana of value 3 or less, and put it into your hand. He gets a small fry. Gotcha. Devoted Graphkeeper. The Beloved Beggar. The Curse of Shaken Faith. Enchant Player. Whenever enchanted player casts a spell other than the first spell they cast each turn, or copies a spell, Curse of the Shaken Faith deals 2 damage to them. So 1 spell at a time, or you're going to take some damage. Curse of Leeches. Yikes! Enchant player. As this permanent transforms into Curse of Leeches, attach it to a player. At the beginning of enchanted player's upkeep, they lose 1 life and you gain 1 life. Oh, it's daybound on this side, and at nighttime, this turns into a Leech Horror. Yikes. Lifelink and Nightbound. If the first darkness falls, then it burrows in. Ew. That's all sorts of nasty. Another one of these. Opening another pack. I have a Logitech Brio webcam. It's actually pretty damn good, but I always seem to have problems focusing. I don't know why. Even when I only had the 922. Well, I have the 922 as well. Come on, you can focus. It gets so close. There we go. And who is she? She is Gisa, the Glorious Resurrector. Don't know what she does, but she's glorious at it, apparently. Another swamp. Another siege zombie. Another hobbling zombie. Crawl from the cellar. Return target creature from your graveyard to your hand. Put a +1/+1 counter on up to one target zombie you control. Nice. Does double duty. Turn the earth. Choose up to 3 target cards in graveyards. The owners of these cards shuffle them into their libraries. So if somebody's got something they keep returning back to their hand, or into play from the graveyard, you can make them shuffle it. If you can't get rid of it any other way, put it in the library where they don't know if they're going to be able to draw it. Rise of the Ants. Create 2 3/3 green insect creature tokens. You gain 2 life. Jeez, big old creatures. Giant ants, folks. Giant ants is a thing. Do you want to get ants? This is how you get ants. Shady Traveler. Come on, focus. Yes. No. Yes. No. Don't matter. He's got menace and he's day bound and he turns into the Stalking Predator. He's a 4/4 here. That's pretty nice. Kessig Naturalist. He's a werewolf, so whenever he attacks, add 1 red or 1 green until the end of turn. You don't lose that mana as steps or phases end. And he turns into Lord of the Ulvenwald. Don't know what that means, but it sounds very German. Other werewolves and wolves you control get +1/+1. Nice. Baneblade Scoundrel. Another werewolf. When it becomes blocked, each creature blocking gets -1/-1 until the end of turn. And he turns into the Baneclaw Marauder. That's a nasty looking piece of work. Oh, come on. Whenever a creature blocking it dies, that creature's controller loses 1 life when he's a werewolf. Pretty nice. Here's the Bird Admirer again. Croaking Counterpart. Create a token that's a copy of target non-frog creature, except it's a 1/1 green frog. So, okay, let me show you what that means. That means if you have a siege zombie, for example, you can cast Croaking Counterpart and he'll still have the tap 3 untapped creatures you control, so opponent loses 1 life, but he won't be a 2/2, he'd be a 1/1, and he won't be a zombie, he'd be a frog. That's funny in very good ways. Shadow Beast Sighting makes a beast token. No token here. Alright, another pack. How long will this take this guy to go through an entire box? Usually takes about 3 hours. I don't know why. Maybe I talk too much. Don't care. My show. Ooh, there's a nice pick. And that is Tovolar the Midnight Scourge. He looks like a bad piece of work. Here's an island. Burned the Accursed. Or Accursed. Depends on how you want to pronounce it. Raise the effigy. Defenestrate. Any creature without flying, because, you know, you throw something without flying out a window, it's going to fly away instead of falling and dying. Bang. Unnatural Moonrise. You cast it and it becomes night. Until end of turn, target creature gets +1/+0 and gains trample, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. So it does a whole bunch of things at once. Here's Play with Fire. It deals 2 damage to any target. If the player is dealt damage this way, scry 1. That's useful, especially as an instant. Shady Traveler. We have him, and he turns into the Stalking Predator. Here's the Tavern Ruffian again with this alternate art. Spell Rune Painter, which I didn't have. I have the original art, but it's cool. It looks like she carved those runes onto herself. She turns into the Spell Rune Howler. She looks much nastier in this. I like it. Okay, and the Burly Breaker, who turns into a Dire Strain Demolisher. Ward 3. He's an 8-7? Yikes. He only costs 5. Wow. An 8-7 for 5 mana. That's a powerful card. Tovolar's Huntmaster. When he enters the battlefield, makes 2/2 green wolf treasure tokens, and as a werewolf, he also makes 2/2 green wolf tokens when he attacks. And you can make wolves fight creatures. That's nasty. Return to Nature. Destroy a target artifact, enchantment, or exile a card from a graveyard. Shiny. Here's a Bleak Coven Vampires. It's got Metal Craft. When it enters the battlefield, if you control 3 or more artifacts, target player loses 4 life and you gain 4 life. That's sweet. Alright, next pack. Sorry, I was opening it off camera because I was looking at the screen to see if anybody had said anything. Well, thank you, Brat Baby. This, oh god, it's fucking Teferi. Sorry. This is a character I hate because they make every card that he's in overpowered. His name is Teferi and he's the master of time. In fact, his name is Teferi who slows the sunset in this set. So, yep, more time shenanigans. Here's a nice forest. Less creepy than some of them. Here's a Bounding Wolf. He's got flash, so you can cast him during your opponent's turn. Surprise, I have a blocker. Here's a Pestilent Wolf. It gets death. You can give it death touch. Nice. Here's a Snarling Wolf. 3 wolves in a row. You can give him +2/+2, but once each turn because he's only a 1/1 and he's cheap. Blessed Defiance. Target creature you control gets +2/+0 and lifelink until the end of turn. When that creature dies this turn, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token when flying. Corpse Cobble. As an additional cost of this spell, sacrifice any number of creatures. Create an XX blue and black zombie creature token with menace, where X is the total power of the sacrificed creatures. That's frightening. If you have a whole bunch of creatures out, and then somebody says, "Well, I'm going to kill every creature that's been damaged this turn, and everyone's been damaged," you can go, "I'm going to cast this, and this big guy has not been damaged," and then everybody goes, "Oh crap!" It's a blade stitch scab. Other zombies get +1/+0. That's nice. Here's the Tavern Ruffian again. Fang Blade Brigand. Goes from a 3/4 to being a 4/5. And you can give him +1/+0 and first strike. Or you can give all the creatures you control +2/+0 until the end of turn. That's a nice one. Dawn Heart Mentor again. Oh, this is the alternate picture, just so you can see it good. Florian, the Voldaren Scion. He's got first strike, and at the beginning of your post-combat main phase, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the total amount of life your opponents lost this turn. Exile one of these cards and put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. You may play the exiled card this turn. That's nice. I do 10 damage to you. I look at the top 10 cards in my library and say, I want to be able to cast this one this turn. He's a sweetheart, yeah. Mounted Dread Knight. Trample, he's a 5/4 for 5. And he enters with a +1/+1 counter on him. And he's shiny. Shiny. Oh, another useless card. Opening up packs. Come on, focus. Really? You refuse to focus now. I move the whole desk upwards just so you can focus. What if I move it down? Down. There we go. Well, she looks like a badass. Twin pistol crossbows. She is a badass. Who is this? She's a bloodthirsty adversary. She's not even a legendary card. Plains. The arrogant outlaw. When it enters the battlefield, if an opponent lost life, each opponent loses 2 more and you gain 2. It's just rude. Neonate's Rush. Costs 1 less if you control a vampire. And deals 1 damage to target creature and 1 damage to its controller. And you draw a card. That's sweet. Nice. Stolen Vitality. Target creature gets +3/+1 until end of turn. If it's your turn, that creature gains trample until the end of turn. Otherwise, it gains first strike. So you make something bigger and able to hit first, or bigger and able to run over your opponent's creatures. Sunset Revelry. If an opponent has more life than you, you gain 4 life. If an opponent controls more creatures than you, create 2 1/1 white human creature tokens. And if an opponent has more cards in hand than you, draw a card. So this just tries to equalize everything. Sunrise Cavalier. Trample and haste. If it's neither day nor night, it becomes day when he enters the battlefield. Whenever day becomes night or night becomes day, put a +1/+1 counter on a creature. Mystic Skull. You can turn any mana into any 1 mana of any color, and you can transform it into The mystic monstrosity. You bring this fucker to life. Lands you. Oh, lands you control have add one mana of any color. Jeez. He turns into a 5/6 and makes all your lands make any mana you want. That's wishful thinking. That's not as useful as you might want to think it is, but it's pretty nice. A morning patrol. Not morning, morning. Hold on. I have to take a drink because my throat is getting dry. Sorry. There we go. They've got vigilance, and they can be disturbed to create a morning apparition, as in morning the time. That's funny. Aww, I get it. Morning patrol. They're walking around with their dog, patrolling the graveyard, and then it becomes the morning apparition, where he's dead, but Doggo can see him and still say, "Hi, I love you, my master." Aww, that's the goodest boy. That's so sweet. Fangblade Brigand, which turns into the Fangblade Eviscerator. Oh my, here she is. Lesa, the Forgotten Archangel. This is the alternate art for her, as opposed to this one. Still a badass. I have to add, still a badass. What does she do? She's black and white. She's got flying and lifelink. She's a 4/5. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, return that card to the end of its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. Oh my god. There's so many things I could do with this. If a creature an opponent controls would die, exile it instead. So it's extra mean. She's the shit. You can make a really wicked deck based on her. So, Augur of Autumn. You may look at the top cards of your library. You may play lands from the top of your library. And as long as you control 3 or more creatures with different powers, you may cast creature spells from the top of your library. Wow. That's very useful too. Here's a Scab Wrangler. I say Scab with a long A because it's SKAAB. Tap 3 untapped creatures you control to tap target creature. A Shivan Meteor. Shivan Meteor deals 13 damage to target creature. That card is the epitome of fuck you in particular. Just look at that thing coming for that one guy. And you can suspend him. Instead of paying his full mana, you can pay 2 red and 1 to let it go off in 2 turns instead of immediately. That's just wrong. 13 straight up damage. Somebody's making a 13 deck right now, you know that. Magic the Gathering just enabled them with so many cards with 13. Okay. Okay, what the hell is this? Oh, I see. It goes like this. I'm trying to figure it out. He looks very happy. Let me get him closer to you. I don't know what the fuck he is, but he's very happy to pull that lever. Insectile aberration. It's Brundlefly from The Fly. Okay, basically. I don't even want to guess if I'll ever get the card that goes with Swamp. An unruly mob. Whenever another creature you control dies, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Yikes. Homestead Courage. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. It gains vigilance until the end of turn. And it's got flashback for the same cost. Wow. White cheats, by the way. That's white cheats. Shit like that. That's why I say it. Moonrager Slash. Let me see if he can focus. Close enough. Costs 2 less if it's a night. It deals 3 damage to any target. Here's the Gavany Trapper. Oh, come on! Here's the Contortionist Troop again. Here's the Dawnheart Mentor again. Bird Admirer. Harvest-Tide Infiltrator. Dawnheart Rejuvenator. Jadar, Ghoul Color of Nephalia. Beginning of your end. Wait, come on. Focus. If you control no creatures with Decayed, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token with Decayed. He's cheap, and he's legendary. Ardent Elementalist. It's a shiny one. Here's a Devil.
I'm a devil.
Love Shack, baby. Anybody listening to the VOD thinks I'm crazy for singing Love Shack right now. But it's playing for all you people who are here. Well, that's a interesting fashion statement. What is that? That's the Hedge Witch's mask. There we go. It's a forest. Crawling from the cellar. Rotten Reunion. Oh, it's the couple from the artwork American Gothic. Anybody remember that? It's a classic piece of art that everyone should know. Exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard. Create a zombie token with Decayed. And flashback. Eaten Alive. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature to exile a creature. Pretty nice. Just 1 second, I need to check on something. I'm trying to find. Okay. Wanted to make sure wasn't running out of songs yet. I still have 4 or 5 songs left. Diagraph Horde. When it enters the battlefield, create 2 decaying zombies. When you do, exile up to 2 cards from graveyard. Nice. Moon Silver Key. Sacrifice it to search your library for an artifact card with a mana ability or a basic land card. That's sweet. I like that. Obsessive Astronomer. He makes it into day, if it's neither day nor night. Whenever day becomes night or night becomes day, discard up to 2 cards, then draw that many cards. Nice. You get to choose whether you want to draw cards or not. Vengeful Strangler. There's a new oh, it's a rogue. When Vengeful Strangler dies, return it to the battlefield transformed, attached to target creature. So he turns into an enchantment? Yes. Strangling Grasp. Each creature or planeswalker an opponent controls. Yeah. Enchant, I mean. At the beginning of your upkeep, enchanted permanent controller sacrifices a non-land permanent and loses 1 life. So you could just fuck somebody up. So you don't just come back as spirits if you want to haunt something with this set. You can come back as an enchantment if you're that card. Here's the Shady Traveler Stalking Predator. Outland Liberator. What does she turn into? The Frenzied Trap Breaker. Yeah. Oh, we got a legendary. It's a legendary ooze. Slogurk the Overslime. Trying to whenever land cards put into your graveyard from anywhere, which means your hand, your library, or in play, put a +1/+1 counter on him. Remove 3 +1/+1 counters from him to return him to his owner's hand. And when he leaves the battlefield, return up to 3 target land cards from your graveyard to your hand. So you can, and it's when he leaves the battlefield, not when he dies. If somebody exiles him, you still get to draw it. That's sweet. Here's Jadat in shiny. Aven Rift Watcher. I'm trying, folks. This gets to be really annoying. Vanishing 3, which comes in with 3 counters. And at the beginning of your upkeep, you remove 1, and when the last one's removed, it's sacrificed. At least it's not exiled, so if you can get things out of the graveyard, you can bring it back. When it comes into play, or leaves play, you gain 2 life. So that's 4 life for 3 mana. even if you don't do anything with it, but let it leave. I'm pretty sure it's not going to take an entire 3 hours this time. And this card is Tovolar the Midnight Scourge, which I thought I had a different version of already. I do. Also, Tovolar the Midnight Scourge. Different art style. One is card number 6 and the other is card number 8. So I'm guessing there's a third version of that card out there. Here's a Plains, Otherworldly Gaze, Jack-o'-lantern. 1 and sacrifice to exile a target card from a graveyard and draw a card, or to exile it from the graveyard to add 1 mana of any color. So you change whatever mana you got into something you need. Here's an Evolving Wilds. A card that doesn't give mana, but you can go get a card. Eccentric Farmer. When Eccentric Farmer enters, mill 3 cards, and you return a land card from your graveyard to your hand. That's pretty eccentric, yeah. Vampire Socialite. Oh, she looks fancy. When he enters the battlefield, if the opponent lost life this turn, he gets a +1/+1 counter on each other vampire you control. And as long as any opponent lost life this turn, each other vampire you control enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter. That's a nifty vampire trick. Hungry for more. You create a 3/1 black and red vampire creature token with trample, lifelink, and haste. Sacrifice at the beginning of your next end step. Here's that Shady Traveler, the Harvestside Infiltrator, Visions of Dominance. I get those all the time. It's called Living My Life. Put a +1/+1 counter on a target creature, then double the number of +1/+1 counters on it. And you can flash it back for 8 and 2 green. But it costs X less to cast that way, where X is the greatest mana value of the commander you own on the battlefield or in the command zone. So if you have an expensive commander and you've gotten him up to 8 mana, it just costs 2 green to cast this from the graveyard. Sweet. Come on, camera. You're harshing my mellow here. Rite of Harmony. I'll just freaking read it. Whenever a creature or enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. That's painful. Heirloom Mirror. Pay 1 life and discard a card to draw a card and then mill a card, and put a ritual counter on Heirloom Mirror. Then if it has 3 or more ritual counters on it, remove them and transform it. And it transforms into Inherited Fiend. You can't read that because of there. It's a demon with flying 4/4, and if you exile a creature from a graveyard, not your graveyard, a graveyard, you put a +1/+1 counter on him. That's nice. Let's see how to socialize. Okay. I'm guessing this is a mountain. Since one is in black and white, so it's probably a land, and two, mountains. Yep, it's a mountain. And so is this. It's the same mountain. That's cute. Okay, we've got a unruly mob, homestead courage, Moonrage's slash, Gavani Trapper, Dawnheart Wardens. Oh, Gavani Dawn Guard. Lets you dig a 3 or less mana cost. Is that a creature it looks for? Yeah. Out of the top 4. This is the card that evens out things. Mana, creatures. There's a Tavern Ruffian again. A Lunarch Veteran again. Intrepid Adversary. When it enters the battlefield, play 1 and a white any number of times. When you pay this cost 1 or more times, put that many Valor counters on it. Creatures you control get +1/+1 for each Valor counter on him. Yikes. He can be huge. Storm Rider Spirit. Flash flying. 3/3. Not the shiny. Come on, open up. There we go. Sometimes it just won't pop. Okay, only 3 more songs left. I'll keep an eye out on it. So this is Creeping In. It's got legs. It's like Baba Yaga's house or Howl's Moving Castle. Okay, we got Plains. Duel for Dominance. Howl of the Hunt. It's got Flash. Even untaps a creature if it's a wolf or a werewolf. Just howl and they wake up. A stuffed bear. It becomes an actual bear. It takes a taxidermist of unusual skill to cleanly stuff and mount a beast without severing its primal predatory drive. Apologies for the coughing. Dry throat. That's funny. Blood Tithe Collector. When he enters the battlefield, okay. Oh, if your opponent lost life this turn, each opponent discards a card. Stromkirk Blood Thief. At the beginning of your end step, if an opponent lost life, you put +1/+1 counter on a vampire. Gale Drifter becomes a Whale Drifter. Wait, that's no Griff, at least not anymore. It's the quote. That's funny. Another Bird Admirer. A lot of Bird Admirers and Tavern Ruffians in this alternate art style. Candlegrove Witch. Oh, I got dual land. It enters tapped unless you have controlled 2 or more other lands. It's nice. It's nice. Cathar Commando. Sacrifice. The Goblin Assassin. Whenever a Goblin Assassin or another Goblin comes into play, each player flips a coin. Each player who coin flip comes up tails sacrifices a creature. For 5 mana. That's weird. He could just be a 2/2 for 5. Oh, but it also happens when any other goblin comes into play. And not just under your control. It's all goblins for all players. That's a pretty picture. She looks very kind of benevolent. She must be a white creature. Scab Wrangler. It's a forest. Return to nature. Might of the Old Ways. Target creature gets +2/+2 end of turn. And if there are 3 more creatures with different powers, you draw a card. Oh, it's not even and. It's then. So if you have only 2 creatures with different powers, and 1 creature which has the same power as another one, if adding +2/+2 will make it 3 different powers, then you get to draw a card too. That works nicely. Clarion Cathars makes babies. Search Party Captain. Costs 1 less for each creature you attacked with this turn. So if you attack with 3 creatures, he costs 1 white for a 2/2. And when he enters the battlefield, you draw a card. Gavany Silversmith. When he enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 target players. Sunrise Cavalier again. Just handing out plus. Sacred Fire. Deals 2 damage to any target, and you gain 2 life. And if this was black and a red, I'd be losing 2 life. Which is not fair. Just not fucking fair. Covert Cutpurse. When he enters the battlefield, destroy target creature you don't control that was dealt damage. That's nice. And he's got Disturb, so he comes back as a Spirit Rogue with Flying and Death Touch. Nice. A Village Watch. It's a 4/3, but at night it becomes the Village Reavers. They're not the Village Watch. They keep watch over the village. They watch the village for a good time to get them. Hey, another dual land. Isn't that great? It's blue and white. The color combination I dislike the most. Grizzly Ghoul. It's a grizzly bear. and it's a zombie. And here's the plain old human token. 6, 7 more packs, counting the one that you're looking at right now. That's a nice picture. That's Dennick, the Pious Apprentice. Apparently he is an ooh shiny. He's a legendary because he has a name. A snarling wolf. Blessed Defiance. Flare of Faith. Candle Grove Witch. A Brood Weaver. Uh-oh, here comes the spiders. When it dies, create a little smaller spider with reach. Yep. Spiders are cute. Return target card from your graveyard to your hand. Really easy. And it can flash back, so you can use it twice. Harborside Infiltrator. Spell Rune Painter. Tireless Hauler. Geist Flame Reservoir. Whenever you cast an instant or a sorcery spell, put a charge counter on Geist Flame Reservoir. For 1 in a red, you can remove any number of charges from it. It deals that much damage to any target. Or you can use it to exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. That's pretty nifty. Harvesttide Sentry is my shiny. And Bird. Goodbye. Someday you pay the price, I know. Okay, I'm singing Cold as Ice and I shouldn't. Nobody wants to hear me sing anymore. That's a nice picture. Boy, these cards are fingerprint magnets. Immediately a fingerprint right there. But look, check out the hat. It looks like he's investigating. So what is this? This is Primal Adversary. And here is the mountain. A Rotten Reunion. Just love that type. Love those names on some of these. Eaten Alive. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature, or, yeah, Eaten Alive. Just eat something. Nom 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 nom. Diregraph Horde. No Way Out. Discard 2 cards. I get a zombie. Firmament Sage. If it's neither day or night, it becomes day. Whenever day becomes night or night becomes day, draw a card. Nice. Noble Guest Intruder. I have the art card for this. When it enters the battlefield, up to 1 target creature an opponent controls gets -2 on -0. Yikes. It's got flash, so we can just boop, shrink somebody real quick. Flame Channeler. Oh, she transforms if you hit somebody with a spell that does damage into Embodiment of Flame. Whatever you spell, yeah. And after she's changed, you put a flame counter on her when you cast the spells. For 1, and remove a flame counter, you exile the top card of your library and can play it that turn. Nice. Bird Admirer. Dawnheart Mentor. Ludovic Necrogenius is a great name. Whenever Ludovic Necrogenius enters the battlefield or attacks, you mill a card. For 2 black, 2 blue, and X, you exile X creature cards from your graveyard and you transform Ludovic where X cannot be 0. Activate only as a sorcery, and he transforms into Olag Ludovic's Hubris. As this creature transforms into Olag, it becomes a copy of a creature card exiled with it, except its name is Olag Ludovic's Hubris. It's 4/4, and it's a legendary blue and black zombie, in addition to its other colors and types. Put a number of +1/+1 counters on him equal to the number of creature cards exiled with it. So, he's sneaky. But look at what... Okay. So, this is Dr. Frankenstein. And this is his creature made up of a whole bunch of other creatures' bodies that he found. He's got a centipede for a tail. I hate that already. He's got tentacles. And he's got pretty hair that he needs to brush. Come on. Why is he brushing his hair? He also has I would say a horse body with blades for legs, but not the whole leg, just the last third. This guy is fucked up. I love it. Alright. Bait Hook Angler again, who turns into the Hook Haunt Drifter in shiny form. Next pack. Oh, the music's done. I need to start another set. Let's see. My old standby, my 24 hours of crazy deck, just random shit. There we go. Opening a pack. I didn't even realize Cold as Ice was the last song. Oh, it's a signed whatever her name, however this is. Sun Gold Sentinel. It's very pretty. Pretty card. Hot chick, but a little thin. Island. No Way Out. Path to Festival. Festival Crasher. Brimstone Vandal. Dual Craft Trainer. At the beginning of combat, if you control 3 or more creatures, target creature you control gain double strike. No, that's nasty. Loyal Griff, another hippogriff. When it enters the battlefield, you may turn another creature you control to its owner's hand. That's nice. And here's the Mystic Skull. 1 mana of any color, and it turns into the Mystic Monstrosity, which makes all your lands make any color mana. That's nice. Here's a Shady Traveler again. Fuck you, Teferi, who slows the sunset. Fuck you. Blue and white again. He's why I hate blue and white as a combination. Hate him, hate him, hate him. Let's see what bullshit he does. So, he starts off with 4 loyalty counters. And he has a +1 of choose up to 1 target artifact, up to 1 target creature, and up to 1 target land. Untap the chosen permanent you control. Tap the chosen permanent you don't control. You gain 2 life. Fucking overpowered for a +1, isn't it? Yes, it is. But they let it go because it's fucking Teferi. Okay, calming down. I haven't even gotten to the other stuff. The -2. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Just draw a card. Just look at the top three you get to pick. And the -7. You get an emblem. Emblems, they still haven't done anything where you can do anything about an emblem except for take it. Bend over and take it. You get an emblem with untap all permanents you control during each opponent's untap step, and you draw a card during each opponent's draw step. So it gives you untapped everything and motherfucking draw power of the gods. I hate Teferi. I hate Teferi. I hate Teferi. Okay. Angel Fire Ignition. Put 2+1/+1 counters on target creature. It gains Vigilance, Trample, Lifelink, Indestructible, and Haste till the end of turn. Just everything. That's funny. Here's the stuffed bear again, but he's shiny this time. And here's the clue. Aha! I found the clue, Scooby. All right. It's the bird admirer. It's what she turns into. The wing shredder. Chasing the chickens. Funny. All right, I got a mountain. Fine. Stolen vitality. Famished foragers. When it enters the battlefield, if an opponent lost his life this turn, add 3 red. So it could just cost 1 red. If you're lucky. Oh, also for 2 of the red, discard a card and draw a card. Falcon Wrath Perforator. When it attacks, it does the damage. Oh, I see why. She carries lots of little knives. Lady Anya sends her regards. I'll carve the rest of her message onto your skin. Voldaren Singer. First strike as long as it's attacking. Nice. Ghoulish Procession. Whenever one or more non-token non-creatures dies, just make a decaying zombie. Nice. That's just nice. Morbid Opportunist. Whenever one or more other creatures die, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. Might make a deck out of this stuff. I mean, a regular deck. I almost never make regular decks. I never make regular decks anymore. I concentrate on Commander. Necrosynthesis. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature has, whenever another creature dies, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. And when enchanted creature dies, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is its power. Put one of those cards into your hand and the rest in the bottom of your library. That could be nice. We have an Ecstatic Awakener, who turns into an Awoken Demon. I think I only got one other of those. We got the Burly Breaker, who turns into the Direstrain Demolisher. Reckless Stormseeker. At the beginning of combat, target creature you control gets +1/+0 and gains haste until the end of turn. But at night, he turns into a storm-charged slasher. And at the beginning of combat, your turn, a creature gets +2/+0 and trample and haste. Nice. Revenge of the Drowned. Target creature's owner puts it on the top or bottom of their library. You create a 2/2 black zombie creature with decay. Here's a Wolfy Wolf. Well, this guy looks chillaxed. Just kicking it there on the couch. What are you? Arrogant outlaw. Yeah, he looks very arrogant. Got an island out of it. Flare of Faith gives a +2, but if it's a human, it gets +3, and indestructible. Why would you not play humans with that card? Beginning a combat on your turn, if you control 3 or more creatures with different powers, gains flying until the end of turn. Yeah. Hedge Witch's Mask, I've got the art card of that. Pretty nice, but it's a white card. Party Search Party Captain. Interesting way of drawing a card. When Gavani Silversmith enters the battlefield, put a +2/+1/+1 counter onto 2 target creatures. Sacred Fire. Purifying Dragon. Whenever it attacks, it deals 1 damage to target creature defending player controls. If that creature's a zombie, it deals 2 damage instead. So he eats zombies. Gotcha. The Tireless Hunter, who's carrying a tire. That's a piece of irony I will not get away from. Baneblade Scoundrel. Baneclaw Marauder. Instead of a blade, he's got a claw. Sigarda's Splendor. I have this card. That's with the ibis head. As she enters the battlefield, note your life total. At the beginning of your upkeep, draw a card if your life total is greater than or equal to the last noted life total for Sigarda's Splendor. Then note your life total. Whenever you cast a white spell, you gain 1 life. So, if you gained life from the last time you had an upkeep, you get to draw an extra card. And when you cast the white spell, you gain a life. So unless somebody knocks you down below, as long as you keep going upward, you'll gain card advantage. And if they knock you down, as long as she's around, you can cast white spells and bring up your life. You should be able to, at some point, bring it back to the point where you're drawing again, pretty quick. Because if they knock you way down, and you manage to climb up a little bit, it's still going up now at that point. Blessed Defiance in shiny form. Chatter of the Squirrel. This squirrel looks like he's rabid. Take a look at that mouth. Put a 1/1 green squirrel token into play. Just squirrel. Instead of Howl of the Wolf, Chatter of the Squirrel. I get it. Don't like it, but I get it. Alright. She is the Sunrise Cavalier. It's an island. Famished Foragers, aka Hungry Vampires. Falcon Wrath Perforator, aka Vampire with a lot of knives. Voldarin Stinger, aka Vampire with a sharp, pointy sword. Blade brand, very nice. Vivisection. Vivisection. As an additional cost, cast a spell, sacrifice creature to draw 3 cards. Ew. Yeah, that's Vivisection in a nutshell. Scab Wrangler. There she is. She looks so benevolent. Tap 3 untap creatures you control to tap 1 creature. She's not that powerful. Burly Breaker, which becomes the Dire Strain Demolisher again. Got the Shady Traveler and the Tavern Ruffian. These guys are like water. They're everywhere. Light Up the Night. Light Up the Night deals X damage, it's 1 red and X, to any target. It deals X plus 1 damage instead if the target is a creature or a planeswalker. That's not that great. Flashback. For 1 red and 3, remove X loyalty counters from among the planeswalkers you control. If you cast a spell this way, X can't be 0. So you need to remove X loyalty counters instead of pay X mana. So you gotta better have a whole bunch of loyalty counters on your. Otherwise, you can't do big damage. Here's the Village Watch. It turns into the Village Reavers. Alright. Here's Zambi. And this is the last pack. Hey, Seed Murder. For a whole box, I don't know. Monetarily, I mean, out of fun and good card art, it's worth it because this is a whole bunch of good stuff. They've got a lot of commons blended in, but the art cards are really awesome too. Like this is the Brutal Cathar. It's got a big old sword and a flaming crossbow. Flaming pistol crossbow. He's the badass for sure. But I don't know card values. But I do know that I have one card that I have to look up because I'm pretty sure it's probably a pretty good reprint. I'll show you in a second. I'll show you after the deck's over. The last pack is done. Mountain, the Lambolt Harrier, makes things not block. Pax Betrayal, where you take control of a creature. Bounding Wolf, flash and reach. Pestilent Wolf, death touch. Storm Skrillex, not Skrillex. But I'm sure when it flies and screams, it's a Drake horror. It probably makes sounds like Skrillex's music. Lunar Frenzy, target creature you control gets plus X plus 0 and gains first strike and trample. Nice. Chaplain of Alms. He's got first strike, ward 1, and disturb. When he comes back from disturbed, he is the Chapel Shieldgeist. And he gives each creature you control ward 1, which includes himself instead of just himself having it. How nice of him. Lunarch Veteran, who comes back as a Luminous Phantom. Visions of Ruin. Each opponent sacrifices an artifact. For each artifact sacrificed this way, you create a treasure token. So you can destroy one of your things, and they destroy one. And if you're playing in a 4-man game, and they all have artifacts like, Sol Ring, you get 4 treasures. Not bad. And if you already have a treasure, you can use that. Malevolent Hermit. You sacrifice him to counter target non-creature spell, and if you disturb him and make him a ghost, he's a benevolent geist. Non-creature spells can't be countered. Yikes. He counters things in his... That's cute. When he's alive, he counters things, but after he dies, he stops people from countering your things. A lot of a lot of doubles when it comes to the commons, of course, but not that many when it comes to the other stuff. And another hobbling zombie. Here, well, let's go through the rares just so you can get a look at it. Got the Malevolent Hermit, Visions of Ruin, Light Up the Night, Sigarda's Splendor, Reckless Storm Seeker, Angel Fire Ignition, Teferi who pisses me off, who slows the sunset, Ludovic Necro Genius, Geist Flame Reservoir. I got a Deserted Beach, and the two colors I hate combined. I hate them combined. I love blue, but white I hate. Rockfall Vale, Intrepid and Adversary. I actually don't think I have any rares that are copied. Visions of Dominance, because they have some that are reprints or from a different set. I have a one combo double. Jadar, Ghoul Caller of Nephalia. And this one's shiny. Slogurk, the Overslime. Okay. The rarity is basically based on what the Magic the Gathering thinks they're pretty good. But when you find cards with the gold or or orangish, that's rares and mythic rares. Lesa, the Forgotten Archangel. This is an alternate art card too, so this one's might be worth something if she's useful. Florian, the Voldaran Scion. Tovalar's Huntmaster. Croaking Counterpart. Curse of Leashes is nasty. Curse of the Shaken Faith. Catilda, Dawnheart Prime. Hallowed Respite. Here's the card I think might be worth something. The Pithing Needle, which makes something not work unless it's a mana ability. Old Stick Fingers. Graveyard Trespasser. Moonveil Regent. Magic Gathering decides which cards they're going to print more of and which cards they're going to print less of based on how good they think the cards are. So of course there are going to be some duds. But there's also a whole bunch of good ones. Student of Warfare, that's from a whole set I never even got before. I don't even know what this symbol is. Sereth, the Viper's Fang. Denick, the Pious Apprentice. Visions of Dread. Briarbridge Tracker. Triskaidekaphile. He loves 13s. Galvanic Iteration. Lord of the Forsaken is a demon. A Selfless Spirit. A Dire Strain Rampage. And Wilhelt the Rotcleaver. In fact, that was that one guy was the only Jadar Ghoul Caller of Nephalia was the only double I got. So that's pretty damn good. Yeah, the symbols right here to let you know what set they come from. If you know what they all look like. If it has a little hologram here, it's rare. I don't know what year they started doing this though. You can probably see it shiny. That little oval at the bottom. That lets you know that it's a rare or a mythic rare. But I don't know what year they started doing that. Magic's been around since 1993, so 18 years, you'd make some changes. I got a lot of uncommons. I don't think I got that many dual multiples, which works. And of course, shitloads of commons. So there's a lot of doubles in here, and triples and quadruples, because they're common. At their best, a current set common will be worth a quarter. After the set's no longer in production, it'll slowly creep up, but it won't really be big money. Rare for mythic rare is the color of the mark. See, commons, they're in black and white. Uncommons are in silvered. And then rares, regular rare is in gold. And the orangish gold is the mythic rare. So, all in all, it's really nice. And if you get the set boosters and not the draft boosters, you also get the art cards. And these aren't worth anything in the game, but they're good art. I mean, look at these things. All of these are cards. This one's even signed. Some of them are signed in gold by the artists. They're going to be worth more in the long run than the normal ones of those kind. In fact, there are 81 art cards in the set. And I just opened up a box, so I don't even remember how many packs were in there. 30, somewhere between 30 and 36, I think. Why don't I just count the art cards? Oh, yes. If I wasn't an idiot, I would have. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 20. 30. There we go. 30 packs. And you get the art cards as well. So, that's going to be it, because I've got all these lovely cards now. I get to see if I want to make decks out of them. I get to look up the ones I want to look up. Even if I do have some that are worth something, they might be worth something to me to put in a deck. You see, that's the problem. I also play Magic, which means I want things for decks, not just to collect and sell. But eventually, you get tired of a certain card, or a certain card is no longer allowed in the formats that you play. There are different formats of Magic the Gathering play, and that's a whole different bag of worms that I'm not going to get into. But that's it for me for this stream. Nearly 3 hours of looking at really, really cool looking cards. I mean, even the lands are fucking awesome. And that's why a lot of people love Magic the Gathering, because not just because it's a game that lets you exercise your brain, not just because it's an encyclopedic storyline crossing multiple dimensions, basically. They call them planes. But really, it's just like other planets, almost. But it's also beautiful fucking artwork. It's amazing. So, until next time I have a stream, folks, have a good night. But don't forget to live evil.